Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of BS Drunk Movie Reviews. This is a weekly podcast. I'm sorry, I'm so drunk right now. This is a weekly podcast, and we do upload the video version of this to our YouTube channel. So if you can check that out, that would be great. My name is Matt, and as always, I am being joined by my sister, Vetta.
Yo.
Yo. On this episode, we are going to be talking about the movie Above the Shadows.
Yeah, we are.
And before we get started on this, I just want to say this movie is my fault. I'm dumb because you said you watched this movie and I was like, oh, maybe we could do it for the podcast. And so I was all like, I watched the trailer. I was like, yeah, we should totally do this movie. It looks, ridiculous. No, it's retarded. This movie drove me mental. I had to watch, I had to stop and start this movie 4 times, like, because I just couldn't handle any more of the ridiculousness.
It causes so many mental problems. It's not even funny.
It's so
this is why
long.
we drink.
Ain't that the truth? It is so long. Like for a movie that would take 20 minutes. All right, before we get started on this, because we have thoughts, that most important question, what are you drinking tonight?
I am drinking this little bitty bottle of sparkling wine.
Nice. That's my ground. That's my territory. What was that? I can't hear you. It's not. Hold on. I'm gonna.
So where was I? What was I saying?
You're drinking a small little bottle of.
So this bottle of wine was there was a pack of 3 of them at the counter at the checkout at the liquor store.
God, I love those.
And I went, well, there's 3 of them and it's sparkling. If it's horrible, I can always mix it with something and it'll just make that something bubbly.
Right? Go ahead.
Good.
Yeah, right.
So that's what I'm drinking. It's a little sparkling wine.
Yeah. No, hey, when in Rome, honey. I am the same boat. I am drinking wine too, except mine's red. It's not sparkling, and mine's in a bigger bottle. But I'm drinking a Cabernet, which I've almost finished the bottle because I have an addiction. So, but before you saw this movie, what were your thoughts about this movie going in?
I saw the trailer and I was intrigued.
That's what I said. I saw the trailer. I saw that Alan Richardson guy. And I was like, oh, hey, I like him. And then that girl that's in it, she's in some movies that I'm like, oh, hey. So I was like, and she's, a superhero. So I was like, let's watch it. She's not a superhero. She's not.
No, this is some weird sci-fi romantic shit that makes no sense.
It makes no sense.
No sense.
I kept writing down.
It was like a bad version of the no sense butterfly effect.
Yeah, well, I kept writing down, this makes no sense. How did she get her powers?
I put the dear God. Like at one point, she literally is like, that's my older sister, Vanessa, and that's my little brother. I'm the middle child. I'm like, I'm sorry. Did you just claim all this shit happens because you're the middle fucking child?
That's so funny. That's a good point.
She does, though. This is a movie. Whoever wrote this is a middle child who sits in therapy and is like, my parents love my older sister because she's so successful and my little brother's the baby and he can do no wrong. And I'm the middle child.
I'm ignored.
That's who wrote this movie.
Right. Yeah. This movie is so bad. I regret watching this movie. I regret telling you we should watch
2 hours of our lives we're never getting back. But because we're not getting it back, you get to listen to this and save those 2 hours of
you guys,
life.
Real quick, do not watch this movie. Just listen to this. I promise you'll get more out of this than you will this fucking movie. I kept writing down, and I'm going to ask you, how is she invisible? I mean, they explain nothing. They explain nothing.
It's like a bad version of the butterfly effect.
Yeah. Well, I thought maybe like later on in the movie, and I think I wrote this down later on, when she throws the kaleidoscope thing and it shatters, I was like, oh, that's how she got her powers. No, it's not, because she's still invisible.
It is like everybody just forgot her. But at no point do they remember her, because even at the end when her dad sees her,
right?
At least in the butterfly effect, they have a rush of all these memories that come back to them. That doesn't happen in this movie.
Yeah, I wrote down, but I'll say it now. I wrote down the dad at the end. Where do they think she went? Like,
That I was like,
he's like,
I wrote that down and I was like, did she get kidnapped? Was she a runaway?
yeah,
Was she a serial killer victim?
yeah.
Where did they think she went? Because
Yeah.
he clearly remembers her at
Right.
the
Because he's like,
end.
Holly?
Yeah.
And she's like,
So
hey,
where
dad.
did he fucking think the 12-year-old middle child
Yeah,
went?
exactly. That's why as soon as and then it just ended there. Like it's like he's like
Yeah, did she run away
Holly?
to LA Skid Row and
Yeah,
become a prostitute?
yeah. She's like,
Or I'm
he's like,
sorry, I apologize. A sex worker
you can say hooker.
or
It's
a
fine.
porn star
It's
or
fine.
no, the correct word is a sex worker.
No, they're hookers. It's fine.
No, they're not. They're sex
Yes,
workers.
they are in my book. They're hooers. They're little hooers. Anyways,
The
yeah.
ending is so confusing.
It's so confused because he just says Holly, and then she's like,
Yeah.
"Hi, Dad," and then it just ends. And I was like, "You got to be fucking, you're fucking with me,
Right.
right?"
No answers.
No
at all.
answers.
None.
I'm just like, what is going on in this movie? Is such nonsense.
So let's back up to when the 12-year-old version of her wakes up in her house and goes into the kitchen.
Oh, wait, can I say one more thing?
Nobody acknowledged her.
Can I say real quick something about this before we get into this?
Yeah.
What's up with the dad's hair at the very beginning?
I mean,
he looks like
a bad Donald Trump.
Oh, I thought he looked like a
over.
chubby Kristoff from Frozen. Like I was just like, I was like, what's going on with his hair? This is just a bad wig. I was like, ugh.
It's so horrible.
But
it's horrible.
Now that you say Donald Trump, I was like, oh, that's a good comparison. I was like, it's all, I'm like, who made this decision? And it's just a bad one. I was like, it's a bad decision.
That was the hair person's first day on the job.
That's funny because it probably is true. And I love how I feel like her mom. Okay, so like I like how she's like, my mom was one of those people that just liked everything. And I was like, I feel like her mom is what, like, you know, those people that when you say, what do you do for a living? They're like, oh, I do a little this, a little that. And you're like, oh, so you're unemployed. I feel like that's her mom, but like art wise.
See, I feel like her mom is one of those people that realizes they're dying and just decides they're going to be a half glass full person. Like, the world is your oyster. You can be whatever you want. Yeah. Money doesn't buy you happiness. I'm like, bitch, please. Even if money doesn't buy me happiness, it can buy me a lot of fucking therapists that can convince me I'm happy.
I disagree. I think money can buy me a lot of happiness.
Right? That's what I'm saying. I feel like her mom is like every single cliche little quote about being the super bubbly individual. Like, the world is your oyster. You can do anything you put your mind to.
You could be invisible and cure my cancer. Anyways, like it was fucking ridiculous. So anyways, you were saying about when she wakes up and she goes invisible before school.
Right. So in that whole thing, and she's like, why is everybody ignoring me? And why is the, I want to be in the picture. Thanks for asking. And then she doesn't appear in the picture
because she's a vampire. That would have made more sense than this fucking movie if she was a vampire. Because she's like, I work at night, and then I'm invisible.
The only thing that makes sense is her fucking job.
I'm like,
perfect job for somebody who's invisible. She is the most amazing paparazzi on the planet.
Yeah.
And she's cheap, according to the guy at the magazine.
Oh, can we talk about her boss? Because I was very fascinated with him. I wrote down
a movie about him running his magazine.
Oh my God. I wrote down her editor looks like a poor man's Gary Oldman. I was like, he
looks like, he's running like multiple porn sites behind the scenes.
Yeah, he is definitely like I was like, honey, you need some moisturizer because your wrinkles are just too, you need some Botox.
What is that? Like
collagen?
No, the beard. Like, you know how they have those like monthly mail things?
Oh, yeah. What is that called? Oh, I don't know what that's called.
I can't fucking remember, but I feel like he's the spokesperson.
Right on. Yeah, no, every time he popped up, I was like, I would like to see a movie with just this guy instead of these fucking boring people.
What's his name? Ron? Like
I
the
don't
name
know, but
alone. His
every time he
name's
came up, I was like, what's going on here? What's this guy's story? Okay.
right? I was like, show me more of
Yeah.
him.
Okay.
This is your movie.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. I have a question though. I wrote it down. Okay. So this movie came out in 2019, right? What year does this movie take place in? Because the editor and everybody else in this has a flip phone. Nobody has an iPhone. So I'm like,
Right.
what? Or does the guy that she threatens to tell everybody that he slept with a 16-year-old, does he have an iPhone? Because I was confused the whole time. I was like, where do they live? What year does this movie take place in?
I have that down. I'm like, what year does this happen? Because this movie came out in 2019. And I really feel like everything is in this movie is 2019. Because
Right
I have written here, how do you explain where all of her shit goes? Because the dad remembers her at the end.
Yes.
And all of her shit just magically disappears and her bedroom becomes the family storage room.
Right.
Like, it makes no sense. Like I said, this is a really poor version of the butterfly effect. Because, at least in the butterfly effect, what's his face? Ashton Kutcher's head hurts really, really bad every time he lives a new life because he's absorbing all of those memories.
Yeah, and I just go, how did she buy the phone if she's invisible? You have to set that shit up.
But that's how I go. She couldn't have a flip phone because you can go online these days and buy a phone, hook it up, and never have to step foot in a
Really?
store.
Oh, well, maybe I'm just old school because I just go into the little shop and I'm like, hey,
you don't have to.
You
can go to Sprint, Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, whatever's website and do everything on the website. But if that's the case, they're not giving you a fucking flip phone. And she doesn't really have a flip phone. She has one of those slidey phones.
Oh, yeah, which is so circa like 2008.
Right.
Shit. I'm all like
makes no sense.
Yeah. Well, the editor had one. I had one of those with Verizon like flippy phones up. It was just weird. It wasn't even like a Nokia. It was like a Verizon, like turn to the side, flip it up and everything. I was like, oh, I used to have
the
one of those.
Sidekick.
Yeah, the Sidekick. Exactly. Yeah. No. Yeah. Exactly. All right.
The only reason I remember that is from Material Girls with the Duff girls, Haley and Hillary Duff. Is that their names?
Yes, that's their name.
Yes, because they had sidekicks and we're all like, I can type 131 words a minute. And they pull out their sidekicks and start typing away.
That's funny. I don't remember that. I never watched them.
Terrible.
Okay.
Don't watch that movie.
I promise I won't. Okay. So I just want to talk about her siblings for a hot second, if we could. Okay.
Oh, for sure.
So her brother, okay. He's just a creeper. Okay. She's all like, he's trying to film a video about legs because he's fascinated with our mother's legs. I was like, no, he's a creeper and he's not making a film. He's just stalking a girl.
He's totally stalking the girl with the black and white wicked witch of the East stockings. Like those are Wizard of Oz.
I thought of when her stockings, I thought of Winifred from Hocus Pocus, but which we've done an episode of that. You guys can check that out. Link in the description down below.
I thought about the Wizard of Oz with the Wicked Witch of the East that the house lands on, right? And they roll up into the little curls because they were black and white stockings.
Yeah, because she's all like watching his film at the end. And she's like, "This is beautiful," and I was like, "Yeah, if you're a creeper," I was like, don't encourage this. He's got a timer for the same person. That's stalking.
And she's always like, I was a terrible big sister. I'm like, you big sistered him till you were 12. It's not really that you were bad at it. You were non-existent.
Right, exactly. Honey, honey, he doesn't remember you. So you
weren't there. He had Vanessa, who's very like into, am I too fat?
Oh yeah. Like I got the whole weight thing with her because I'm the same way. Like when I get hungry, I eat an apple because I'm all like, it's sweet, but it's not, overwhelmingly filling. But she took
carrots and hummus.
Yeah, she took it to a whole nother level. She was like eating crackers at a spaghetti dinner. And she's like, my meat makes my stomach nauseous. I'm like, bitch, eat that shit. That shit looks good. And I was like,
Dad did a good job.
I was drunk while watching the last portion of this. And while I was doing my notes, so I was like, I want spaghetti. So I made some. So anyways.
The brother I'm like, if don't take this the wrong way. I say this with the most
Oh, why do I feel like an insult is coming? Go.
If you or any of my brothers would have been her brother, I would have been calling the cops going, I'm pretty sure my brother is a stalker, pedophile, or he's murdered somebody and they're buried under our front porch.
You're like, I'm pretty sure he's going to murder a girl and cut off her legs.
I'm pretty sure he's one of those people. There is an episode of Criminal Minds where a guy buys people's legs
right
on the black market and like masturbates while he's rubbing the legs.
I've just got mannequin legs around the room.
No, they're real legs.
They're real legs. Ew.
He buys them on the black web or dark web. That's what it's called.
All right. Okay.
So I feel like her brother is like one click away from that shit.
Oh yeah, it was just weird. And like
he's got like somebody else's legs in his basement, like a 40-year-old man's, and he's putting black and white stockings on it.
So then, okay, so here's a question I have for you. Okay, how does I don't remember any of these people's names, by the way. So how does Alan Richardson, how is he the what?
Shane?
Stop talking. Anyways, how is he the only one that can see her? I don't understand that process. Like, just because she took a picture of him, she took a picture of a whole bunch of other people and ruined their lives.
Because like, she ruined his life. She didn't really ruin his life. He ruined his life because he decided to cheat. She just happened to catch a picture of it because she's invisible.
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
Oh, and I wrote this line because this movie is so cheesy. I wrote this line down. She goes, you make me feel like I matter. I'm like, oh, fuck you. Fuck you. I'm like, I hate
so he fucking took advantage of you because you were a fucking virgin and he knew it because nobody else sees
hold on.
And
I want to talk about
anyways, and still hooked up with Megan Fox.
Right. Hold on.
He knew absolutely positively what he was doing. He's a douche.
Yeah, I wrote down that both these characters are so boring. They're so uninteresting in every sense of the word. Like they are the
epitome of everything that would be canceled on every social media.
Right
they are canceled culture. Like every single, like, what are they called? Gen Z? Is that what the generation under millennials is?
Yeah, it's Zoomers.
Oh, Zoomers.
Yeah, they're Gen Z, but Zoomers. Yeah, no, I
just feel like cancel culture would hate these people. If he was a legitimate MMA fighter.
Which I want to talk about that also. Okay, so
there's
real quick.
So many things in this movie.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, okay. So so the poker game. Is there a poker game in this?
No.
I wrote down poker game. I don't know why. Anyway.
Can we talk about for a minute?
Oh, wait, no. Let me talk about this. There is a poker game, okay? So remember the show he's going to get on? And he's going to be like a poker
when they're in the bar and they're talking
okay.
about the poker game.
Yeah, I wrote down
$1,500, but the manager tries to fuck him over and say it's $800.
Yeah. I wrote down that this is, I was like, it's practically Dancing with the Stars, just a poker game. I was like, don't do it. Don't do it. Okay. You're better than that. Even though you're a loser, it's fine. Just don't do that. Don't do Dancing with the Stars. Don't do the poker game.
But before that, can we back up to this happens at about the same time where he doesn't want to talk to her because he's afraid everyone's going to think he's crazy for talking to himself. Why can't he just put an AirPod in?
Oh, that's an excellent point. Yeah. Put an AirPod in.
I'm not kidding. I'm telling you, every time I go to the grocery store, I think at least two people are crazy until I see them turn and they've got the little white AirPod in their ear.
Yeah, no,
and
that's
I'm like, they're not crazy. They're just advertising their conversation to the whole world.
Exactly. But I'm pretty sure at this point they're all like, well, we don't know what year this takes place in, so AirPods don't exist.
Because we have sidekicks.
Yeah, exactly. It's insane.
We filmed this in 2019, but apparently we're in limbo.
Yeah. And okay, so going back to how boring these characters are. Okay, so I like how one point he's like, which one's gonna win? And they're doing a raindrop on the window race or whatever. When this happened, I was like, what is going on here? What's going on?
These are many problems.
I was like, I did this movie not have enough in it? They just needed to add a raindrop on the window race. I was like, this is ridiculous. I was like, I hate this movie
So
so
messed up.
much.
What is this? Are we 5-year-olds?
Right, right. Okay, and then this is the thing. She says she doesn't like crowds. Okay, and I was like, why? It seems like a crowd would be the best place for you
Because she gets boo-boos and then has to give herself stitches because she can't go to the hospital.
Yeah, what? She gets boo-boos. What is that?
Did you not see her pull up her pant leg and point to the scar?
Well, now that you say it, yes, but I'm all like, okay, so you had one run-in, okay? I'm like, that's a ridiculous reason.
Okay, I'm 4'0" nothing. When I go into a crowd, I can bob and weave like a fucking ninja and get to the front of the rail at a concert. So what the fuck is her problem? That she can't walk 2 feet without getting crippled?
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole thing. I was like, why wouldn't you like big crowds? Because like every time you touch them, they seem to freak out. Like her dad did, like, oh, and everything because she touched his arm, and I was like, just touch
you're
them.
Invisible. They're literally not gonna know it was
right.
You.
Exactly. Okay. Also, why does she borrow stuff like clothes from her sister or makeup from that woman's bag? She could just go into a store and steal it. And just bring along a little bag, put it in there. No one's gonna see you, and they're not gonna miss it.
Even if the alarm goes off when you walk out the door, you're invisible.
Right.
Nobody
Exactly.
You could walk into a bank and steal all the money out of the teller's drawers. Nobody sees you.
Exactly. The whole time I'm just like, why is she borrowing this woman's lipstick?
Because this movie makes no sense.
It makes no sense. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Okay. Also, we were talking about the MMA fighting and everything. I feel like in some way, shape, or form, an MMA fighter was involved in this because the fighting went on so
he was the consultant.
long.
He was the paid consultant.
Somebody must, because the fighting went on so long. Like I was like, we can wrap this up in like 2 minutes because don't get me wrong.
This scene's been going on for about 45 seconds too long.
Yeah, like I don't get me wrong. I like MMA and everything. I like people punchy and everything, but it shit went on way too long, especially that end fight. I was like, please, for the love of Jesus, hurry up. I was like, Attila the Hun can hurry it up, or you know,
I was
Aquaman
like, Attila,
here.
live up to your name and just clobber the shit out of him, please.
Yes, I was just like I was just like every single fight.
And we could all see the score sheet.
Oh, right on. Yeah, exactly.
We all knew he wasn't winning.
The one guy gave him a 7
bag.
Yeah, I don't know if a 7 is bad or good, but I was like, he gave you a 7. That's and then he lost, so it must have not been good. It must have not been good. Okay, and then so going back to her losing her virginity, she was on top. How many girls do you know that lose their virginity on top?
Absolutely none.
Exactly, except for Lady Bird.
Don't know what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. You don't know what you're doing. Nothing is worse than a bitch that doesn't know how to ride a dick.
Her idea, I can guarantee she did it wrong.
Oh, she for sure did it wrong. Listen, I'm not trying to like brag or anything, but I've been with 2 first timers, and the first one was my first time too. And yeah, they don't know what they're doing. You have to, well, the first time was their first time, but we neither one of us knew it. But when you're with someone for the first time, you need to show them the way. But this bitch, she just got up on top and was like, yeah, I'm gonna ride this dick. I'm like, no, you're not. No, you're not.
Because let's be honest here. If it was legit her first time, I am betting any amount of money, girls who are on top for the first time. I don't care if it's your first time, period. The first time you're on top, it takes a little bit to actually get it in. Unless you grab it and shove it in, it ain't going in on its own. And she did not grab it and put it in. She was all like, oh, I'm gonna like dry hump the shit out of this and hope it slides in by accident.
Yes. And you guys stay tuned for our next podcast, Sex Tips with brother and sister.
Next, we will be critiquing
BS
videos on
BS drunk sex
times.
tips. I'm down for that podcast if you want to join me for that one. Just the tip. There's so much laughing. We need to calm it down. Oh, I'm so drunk. Okay.
Relax. Okay.
Oh my gosh, I'm so drunk. You can see the redness. For those that are listening, you can see the redness in my cheeks. That's how you know.
I can't stop smiling. That's how I know I'm drunk. My nose is numb and I smile like I'm the fucking Joker.
Right on. Okay, how did you feel about Megan Fox in this movie? Because don't get me wrong, Megan Fox is hot, even though she's got freak thumbs.
I feel like she just played herself.
Yeah, she's dumber than a box of rocks. I don't know if you've ever seen her in an interview, but she's believes
dating Machine Gun Kelly.
Oh my God.
She's a fucking moron.
Oh my God. I love that she's dating him because they're both mental. They're both mental.
It brings so much joy to my life.
You should. I watched her. I believe it was some late night, one of those late night shows or whatever. And she was like talking about astrology. And I was like, oh, she's retarded. She believes in astrology. And then Machine Gun Kelly was on Howard Stern one time. And he was talking about how like frogs and shit. And I was all like, oh, they're retarded together. They're so stupid. They're just a big wall of stupid. Yeah.
Frogs are looking at the full moon. Oh my God. Should we have a baby together?
Dude, no joke. I totally believe that that's what their conversations are like. They like, oh, I should send you the link.
Talk about they got engaged and they drank each other's blood. I imagine that they had like a Twilight moment where they were like, oh, should we be bonded forever? You should drink my blood. Yeah. But you're not a vampire. But you could be, babe. So you should drink mine. Maybe we should drink each other and we'll both be vampires and live forever. You say this like it's probably not true, but it probably is true. They're mental. I believe that they are, not right in the head for series. Not at all. Like when they showed her ring, and then I read an article about if she takes her ring off, like it penetrates her finger and cuts her finger. What? Like it's got like metal thorns on it. So if she takes it off, it cuts her finger open.
Don't tell me these things.
But she can never take the ring off.
Does it cover up
wants it to cut her finger open?
Does it cover up her gross thumbs? Have you seen her thumbs?
Her man toe thumbs.
They look like big toes. They look like your big toes. It creeps me out every time.
But have you ever noticed when she shows her ring, it's cropped out so her thumbs are not in the picture?
All I know is
they don't want her giant man thumbs or man toes in the picture.
I'm not joking. It creeps me out every time I see it. I'm like,
a man with like a size 15. It's like Shaquille O'Neal's big
she put a shoe on her hands. She should walk around with shoes on her hands. We
got super sidetracked on Megan Fox's giant toe.
Okay, so I wrote down.
Yes,
I love
Megan Fox's character is seriously unnecessary. Right, she has no value to this film at all.
Yeah, she's like, I can't date a loser. I'm just kidding. Well, you should learn to kid better because we both should be laughing right now. What?
She goes, I would have called you eventually.
Yeah.
Like when we're 80 years old and we're both in a nursing home and I need the
I go, this guy, the new Jack Ryan, or Jack Reacher, he's hot. He's got the ripped abs and he's all built and shit. I'm all like, what producer did you leave him for? Like, he couldn't have been this hot. I'm telling you that right now. Like, this man is fuckable on sight, and who are you leaving him for, huh? Peter Jackson. For sure.
He's sex on a stick. Exactly. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
here.
I'd fuck him hardcore. Right. Oh gosh, yeah, because I'm a top. If you can't tell, manliness. Anyways, alpha.
For sure.
Alpha right here.
Every single gay man on the planet looks at you and go, "Oh, he could dominate the shit out of me."
I'm a top for sure. Anyways, okay. So anyways, but I love how Godzilla, the Attila guy, I called him Godzilla the whole time. I was
You
like,
totally did.
I was like,
Attila the
Godzilla is so
Hun.
annoying. Anyway, so Godzilla, I love how he was so boring. Like he's just eating carrots. He's like,
And
I'm
called
just sitting
his
here.
mom.
I'm just sitting here eating my baby carrots.
And calling my
He's
mom
not
to
even
make sure
watching
she
TV.
gets a good night's sleep.
Exactly. It's like, what are you wearing, Mom? You wearing that little nightie
Those
that I like?
slippers were supposed to be warm.
You wearing that black thing that I like? You dirty hooer.
Ew. You went too far. You've crossed the line. He's brought his mom into it.
Right on. Okay, so here I have a question. I have a couple questions right now.
Okay.
Was the kaleidoscope magical? Because
No.
as soon as she threw it down, then what's his face couldn't see her. Blondie couldn't see her.
Could he not see her because of the kaleidoscope, or because he got back together with Megan Fox?
I don't know. And then well, yeah, that's a good question. But we won't know the answer to that. My question,
no, because there'll never be a sequel.
How did she not see herself in the mirror? Like, could she see herself before?
She's a vampire.
Oh, that's listen. I'm telling you right now. I swear to God, that would have been a way more interesting story.
Would have been way better.
This would have been way more. Like all of a sudden, she's like, "Oh my God, my mom was."
Or her mom was a vampire and turned her and nobody else in the family.
Yeah, exactly. She worked at night. She showed up at his house early in the morning. She was not around during the day. She was like in her apartment. That would have been a way more interesting if she found out she was a vampire at the end. That would have explained so much and been a way better movie. Like, and it would explain how her family forgot about her because she hypnotized them to forget about her. I'm like, that would have been a way better movie. She didn't even
realize she was doing it because she was 12.
Exactly.
She was like Kirsten Dunst's
you and I need to
Interview with the Vampire.
Yo, Hollywood, hire us. Look, we just fixed your fucking movie. We're script doctors now, Vetta. We're script doctors.
We made it a blockbuster.
We just need
a bottle. Had a B film.
Exactly. We just needed some alcohol and some thoughts.
Okay, you gotta like think about that though. That would be an amazing meeting to get to go to. So we're meeting with Mat and Vetta today, and they're gonna have a couple drinks before we get in there, and we're gonna pitch them some ideas, and they're gonna fix them for us.
They're gonna fix us. There are our script.
What did they have to drink today? Does anyone know? So Vetta had a Dirty Shirley, and Matt had a bottle of Pinot Noir. Oh, this is gonna be a good meeting.
This is gonna be a good meeting, you guys. I feel like this is gonna be a good meeting.
This is gonna be Oscar.
You guys hire us. We're cheap.
Coming out of this meeting.
Exactly. We're cheap.
When we tell them we've just had a Coke and an iced tea, they're like, "Shit, this is straight to Netflix."
We're like, we came prepared. We're serious right now.
We're trying to be focused, guys. I had a Coke and he got a mocha from Starbucks. No. Like, fuck, this is a Hulu movie.
Yeah. This is going straight to Netflix. Okay.
I would go to those meetings. I'm just saying. The Dirty Shirley and Pinot Noir meetings, not the Starbucks meetings.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I just couldn't understand how she couldn't see herself in the mirror as soon and then she goes to that.
And she was super trusting with the delivery people that she would just throw the money on her little whiteboard outside.
Oh, right,
like none of her neighbors would walk by and steal the $40.
Oh, I'm not even joking. If I was a neighbor, I'm a big Yenta. I would watch every time she put money on the door and I'd be like,
I would be sneaking out my little peephole and be like, oh shit, she's having groceries delivered. That's $45. Oh,
yeah,
man.
Yeah. Because what is she gonna do?
Rent this month. I'm stealing that shit.
Exactly. What is she gonna do? Tell the cops they can't see her? Right. like if she texts me, be like, I know you took my money. I'd be like, all right, call the cops,
prove it.
Fucker.
Call the cops.
Prove it. I saw you. Did
Invisible
you?
Bitch.
Cops are getting texts. I'm all like, no, that's my neighbor. She said I could have it.
Right. Did you talk to her like in person? Because she told me in person that I could have the money because I collected her groceries for her and put them in her fridge.
Right.
And I paid the guy.
Yeah, right.
So I don't know what you're talking about.
Right on. I don't have anything else, but if you have other stuff, I'm more than happy to I want to talk.
I have some notes, but they're
okay. She just goes to that fight. Okay, right? And then all of a sudden, everybody can see her. All right, because her and the fighter guy
Love
met.
conquers all.
Love conquers all. I don't understand. They don't explain anything in this movie. Like, I was like, it's an interesting concept, but at the same time, the execution is, not good. Like, and when I say execution, I feel like I should have been shot watching this movie because it was not good. Like,
people in the audience are yelling, why isn't she moving? And then when she's like being carried out, I didn't know I needed a ticket.
Right. What are you, stupid?
Like, there are so many things wrong with this movie. Like, the power of love made her visible. I'm pretty sure her dad and her siblings loved her.
Oh, right on.
Even though she was quote unquote a middle child.
Right on. Yeah. And I love how she was all like, I wasn't there for them. Bitch, how could you be there for them? Like, like, I don't understand. You're putting a lot of pressure on yourself.
It makes no sense. This entire movie makes no sense. It's literally based on middle child syndrome.
I bet you, I don't know who wrote this, but I bet you
they're a middle child, and they wrote this movie about them being a middle child.
Now that you say that, we'll have to tweet it out if they are. But yeah, no. Now that you say that, that makes perfect sense. I'm just like, ugh. But this movie is garbage. Do you have anything else?
If you think about it, in the whole thing, it's totally a middle child syndrome movie, because what happens? Eventually, somebody gives her the attention she's been craving, because she didn't get it as a middle child once her mother died.
That's so funny because it's true.
Yeah. Her dad gave her beautiful older sister the attention. Oh, and her ding dong little brother the attention he needed to succeed.
Yeah, he could have used less attention.
Creepy video making.
Oh my gosh.
Would you watch a video about the, amazing legs?
Oh my goodness. And I just want to say that the movie that he made was not that good. I just want to say that right now.
Like the whole time she's watching it and she seems all like super inspired.
Yeah. And she's like, it's beautiful. And I'm like, no, it's not. I'm like, what? He didn't do anything. He didn't do anything special. Like, that's what the whole time I'm just like, this, hold on. Ugh. Sorry, I had to burp. It's just bad. It was all bad. And I love how he was polishing like his lens. Like,
if Jeffrey Dahmer was into girls, would this be his video? Maybe.
I love how he, as I was saying, I love how he was polishing his lens. Like I'm a real filmmaker. Get the fuck out of here. You're like college level.
You were creeping on the girl in the black and white stockings, and you were justifying creeping on her by creeping on everybody else.
And I love how he was all like, did you fall, ma'am?
I love how he says, so I saw you fall.
Yeah,
I thought you needed help.
I saw you fall.
So I came out.
So I grabbed my knife because it was the perfect time.
To where you were watching from, the creepy ass basement window with the video camera sticking out of it.
Right. Yeah, it's all just bad. This is just a bad movie.
And I go, fuck his dad for supporting this behavior.
Oh, I don't think the dad knew.
They all knew that what did his dad think he was doing in the basement? I
honestly think that he thought he was just looking for a job. Like,
the dad does at one point say, how's the job hunt going?
Yeah.
But okay, let's be honest. If your kid was living in the basement, say in 30 years, if your kid was living in your basement and you were at dinner, your Sunday night dinner that's required, and you said, how's the job hunt going? And he was like, well, depends on how you mean going. Would you just like keep texting on your phone about some new property that became available? I'd be like, no. What did you say? I asked you a direct question. Could you look me in the eyes and give me a direct answer, sir?
Right on. Yeah, no, it's all bad. It's all bad. All right. I don't have anything else to say.
I could talk about how horrible this movie is.
Oh yeah, for sure. The next time we see each other in person, we'll just have to sit down and chat about it, because It's god awful. It's so bad. I don't
Do
understand.
not, if there's anything you can get from this episode, it is this line. Do not watch this movie. Save the 2 hours of your life. Go outside. I hear the graphics are good out there. I'm not buying it, but apparently they are.
Right on. Vetta, would you suggest this movie?
Hell no.
Yeah,
Maybe
no,
to
don't
somebody I hated.
Listen, the same thing with a lot of our video, our podcasts. Our conversation was more interesting than this movie. I'll tell you that right now, because this movie is this fucking awful. I will tell you right now, though, if you guys at the time of recording this, it is free on YouTube. Somebody uploaded it. That's how I watched it, because I was like, I'm so glad
I watched it on Hulu for free.
Right on. Well, I don't have Hulu, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to pay for it on Amazon and shit. But I watched it on Amazon or on YouTube for free. I was like, oh, I need to real quick get through this. But it took me 4 fucking days, because I was like, oh, this is bad.
Horrible.
It's horrible. So at the time of recording this, it's free on YouTube. But
or Hulu. If you pay for Hulu,
yeah, if you have Hulu,
for free,
it's free,
ad-free on Hulu.
But if you want to pay the $3, I think it's on Amazon for $3 and on a whole bunch of other places like Google Play and shit. But it's bad.
And what's that one called? Voodoo?
Yeah, Voodoo.
Yeah, it's like $3.99 on there or some shit.
The voodoo that you do, then do voodoo.
I'm
sorry. It's anyways. Okay. Anyways. All right. So moving on to our next segment, our question segment. Vetta, what was your question for this movie, you little cutie patootie?
My question was, what is your favorite supernatural romantic film?
I don't know what yours is, but mine is Ghost. I love this movie so much. It's got Whoopi Goldberg. She's like, hey,
before
I'm
she
Whoopi Goldberg.
Went all like
the Holocaust isn't
culture.
real. She's like,
that was the good Whoopi.
Yeah, that was it. Hey, I talk to ghosts, but in my fake ghost talking room. It's so good. And I love the making a dildo out of wax scene. And I love Patrick Swayze, God rest his soul. And Demi Moore was so hot. Yeah, I just they don't make movies like that anymore. Supernatural romance movies like that anymore. They make Twilight and shit. But it was so good. It was so, and like I remember watching that movie for the first time, and the little demon ghosts that pull those 2 dudes into hell, they creeped me out, because they were like, and everything, and they're like, and everything. I was like,
and you're like, this is a love story. Why are you here?
Yeah, and I love it. All came down to that little book, that little booklet that had numbers in it. I was like, numbers are weird.
Like, is this like the 80s version of a black book? What is this?
It was, but I love that movie. I could watch that movie like all the time. It's so good. It's so good.
And you try to bring it up to like the new generation, and they're like, it's so long.
It's so, yeah.
Why is there pottery? Is that like old timey stuff?
Oh yeah, they're like, is that like Turner Classic Movies? And you're like, no, bitch, black and white is Turner Classic Movies, and I love those too. So good.
Charlie Chaplin is Turner Movies, and that's
good
shit. Go watch it.
Yeah, go watch some
less verbal confirmation in your life.
Yeah. So, all right, what was your
so Ghost was top on my list, but I went with a movie that I think is really underrated.
I swear to God, if you say Twilight, I swear to fucking God.
Oh my God. You should, if I were to say that, I would hope you would drive the 12 hours, murder me, bury
this podcast would be over.
Kill my dogs and bury them on top of me so cadaver dogs couldn't find me.
Yeah, we wouldn't talk anymore. I'd be like, I don't want to talk to you anymore.
No, I picked Premonition with Sandra Bullock.
Yeah, no. You know what gets me about that movie is she didn't even try to save her husband. She was like, fuck that dude. She's like, he cheated. Fuck him. Spoiler alert.
He didn't though. She caught him. She caught
at the whole end
before it happened.
But you know that scene where she found out where she thought he was cheating. She was all like,
at the funeral?
Yeah, she was like, she's like, oh, fuck this. That motherfucker deserved to die. And then she's all like, oh, no, he didn't cheat and everything. And then she's all like, I'm going to try to save him. Too late.
See, I wasn't so much about her caring about saving the husband. I was like, yeah, well, he has to die. That's the whole premise of this whole movie is he's got to die.
I thought she was going to save him.
No, I knew he had to die, but it was all about fixing their relationship. And like the whole thing that got me that made no sense about that movie was the sliding glass door the daughter runs through.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because she's stupid.
Because the wife's decal didn't show up in time.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry. Listen, I can see glass. I'm sorry. It reflects and shit. That little girl was stupid. She deserved everything she got. I feel I don't feel sorry.
The only thing about that movie that makes no sense to me. Oh, and the fact that the mistress like comes clean, like he was gonna, but nothing happens. But my whole thing about it is like the whole reason that it's my like favorite supernatural romance is that she figures out that all this shit's bullshit and it's like parallel universes and she's got to figure out which one she's living in and live it. And even in her universe, she's like, he has to die, but this is my life. I'm going to live it. Like,
right on. Yeah, no,
that's the whole thing about it. It's
I saw that
like
in movie theaters.
Patrick Swayze kind of does the same thing of the whole.
You think
or
so?
Not Patrick Swayze, Demi Moore with Patrick Swayze.
I was gonna say, he's the dead player. I was like, you think he thought that?
Drinking.
It's okay. I get it. I think our listeners
know what
get
I mean.
it. Yeah, I think our listeners get it. All 14
What's
of them.
your question?
All right. So mine is a little bit more simpler than yours because one of my all-time favorite actresses is in this movie, and she's got gross thumbs. So my question for you is, what is your favorite Megan Fox movie?
Do you remember when she first came a big star after the Transformer movies and any paparazzi
Which I don't
wanted to put in?
I don't understand why.
I don't either, but all the paparazzis wanted to talk about was her toe thumbs.
No, my gosh, they're so weird. Listen, I don't want to body shame because I feel bad, but at the same time, I'm like, every time somebody brings up Megan Fox, I think of toe thumbs and I just get creeped out. Like, don't get me wrong, my dick would look so big in her hand while she's jerking me off, but it would just they creep me out.
Those toe thumbs would look amazing wrapped around.
Yeah, because it would make it look like a rocket and everything. It definitely give me an extra inch, which I needed because mine's only like 3. Fully erect. But anyways, so what is your favorite Megan Fox movie, Vetta? Now that we're done, we're describing my penis.
Talking about your penis looking bigger in her hands.
We're getting no sponsors now. Monaco, sponsor us.
Right. You make our podcast better.
Yeah, you do. And I don't know what kind of wine I had, but sponsor us. We'll talk the shit out of your product. I'm
gonna tweet to Monaco and be like, you make our podcast better.
You know, we should start doing that, tweeting to all these big alcohol companies, be like, you can pay us in alcohol. We're totally cool with it.
Right. We are some dirty whores.
Yeah, we are. We have addictions. Yeah, we have an addiction. Sorry. But we're funnier when we're on your product.
It makes for good words.
Okay. What is your favorite
Megan Fox movie is Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen.
Are you fucking kidding me? That movie's terrible. It's
horrible. The only thing I like in that movie is Megan Fox's character.
They do like
she's like a mean girl before Mean Girls was the thing.
Right on. My
choices were either that or Jennifer's Body because I love that movie too for the hot fucking mess it is.
No, you already spoke with the first movie. We're gonna talk real quick. First off, there is a song on there that I do like when she first shows up, and I can't remember what the song is off the top of my head because I've been drinking, but I love how they have a dance battle, but it's on one of those like Dance Revolution machines at an arcade. I'm like, you're fucking with me, right? This is what's happening right now. Is this what's happening right now?
It's like that. What's that new movie that like the third one came out where they go to the dance competition and that's all out and the girl wins like enough money to go to college. Kissing Booth.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
What's her name? Joey whatever.
I know who you're talking about because she played that Oh, what was that movie, that series on Hulu where she's like, "Hey, I'm George Ann," and everything, where her mom's like keeping her sick. I liked that though.
Yes, yes, you are correct. I don't know the name of it,
I'm
but yes.
I, I'm George Ann, and I like unicorns. Hold on, I'm looking it up right now as we're talking. But yeah, no,
But in the kissing booth, her and her friend do a dance competition on the DDR Dance Dance Revolution, like arcade game console.
her name is Joey King.
Yes.
And that movie, that show that I was talking about, hold on, I'm gonna look that up because like I loved it because her voice was so
She was
good.
trying to do like the hello, I'm a phone sex operator, and I'm gonna.
I don't think so. I think the girl that really taught that she was
for you, Daddy.
I don't think so. I think the girl Gypsy Rose,
Gypsy,
the
yes,
act,
the
I think that
Munchausen by
Gypsy-
proxy movie where the mom lies about her.
yeah,
being
Munchausen
ill.
by proxy, by the way, is my favorite disease because it just sounds so much fun to say. Munchausen by proxy. But I think that Gypsy Rose actually sounds like that.
In the movie Yes Man, Zoe Deschanel's band is named Munchausen.
That's a good name. It's a good name. I like it. I would listen to them. I've never seen that movie though. Now that you mentioned, I'm gonna see it. All right. We are going off on these tangents. We are we've had way too much. We've had way too much. You especially.
This is
right.
when we've taken it too far.
All right, my favorite Megan Fox movie is Night Teeth, because I don't like any of the movies she's been in, but this was the only movie that I watched that I was like, you know what? I could have handled a little more Megan Fox in this movie. I actually was interested in knowing her character's story, but they killed her. So,
I agree with that. And that is a legit statement. That movie didn't even come to my mind. And we reviewed that.
We reviewed it because I was like, you know, what is my favorite Megan Fox movie? I was like, the one that I actually wanted to see her more in. The rest of them, I was like, oh, she can die already. Like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I was like, Michelangelo, kill her, please.
Okay. I don't even acknowledge that because she is no April
O'Neil. Yeah.
She's not April O'Neil.
No, right on. All right. So do you have anything else you want to say about Above the Shadows?
Recommend to all of your friends to listen to our podcast rather than watching that hot mess. Sure,
it is a very huge hot mess. I would suggest the same thing. And if you are really interested in it right now, YouTube, somebody uploaded it for free. That's how I watched it, because I would have been pissed if I paid the $3 for this. But yeah. So in saying that, all right, you guys, thank you so much for listening to us. Make sure to follow us on Twitter. You can catch us at BS Drunk Pod to stay updated and everything. And we'll also be uploading the visual version of this, which is always super fun, to our YouTube channel. So be sure to subscribe to us there. And that is at YouTube, and it is BS Drunk Movie Reviews. And don't forget to drink, a recap, review, and repeat. Bye, you guys.
Bye.